Last month, I went swimming with sharks, hammerhead sharks, big ones. I mean, not the biggest in the world, but bigger than me, and I wanted to show you the footage. So normally for the bat signal, I'm showing you all the details about some science story that I think is really interesting. This week, it's a little bit different. I'm showing you my highlights from a trip to the Galapagos. And since I've been to the Galapagos Islands twice, 2023 and 2025, I'm compiling my photos and videos from both those trips just to give you a taste of what it's like to go there should you ever get a chance. Or if you have been there, you can compare what I saw to what you saw. These two trips were put together by Worldwide Quest. They bring me on as a tour leader, and then they open up slots for people to come along. And so we get roughly 14, 15 people, mostly Canadians, but also some Americans. We all fly down to Ecuador, and then we travel as a group to the islands, get on board this ship called the Beluga, and then set sail and see all the sights. We had a local guide, same guy both times. His name's Juan. He's amazing. Let me just start by giving you a tour of the ship. So downstairs, there's a bunch of guest rooms. Nothing really interesting there. I'm going to speed up the boring parts here. You come upstairs, you enter sort of the main sort of living area. That's where people eat and drink and hang out. You can see a seating area there under the window and then a table on the left. Those two doors at the back are two more of the guest rooms. There's the second table. Not everyone fits at the same table. Coffee. Oh, that coffee's always going. There's always good coffee available. That's key. You can go out this door to get to the deck on the main level and also to get down to the little dinghies that take you to the islands. But if you go up these stairs, you get to this upper deck. And the upper deck is nice because the view is just amazing. And there's a bit of engine noise, but I'll just let you listen to what it's like there. This is San Cristobal Island. This is the first island that Darwin came to when he came to the Galapagos. They're pretty special. All right, let's cut to the chase. Did I see boobies? Absolutely. There were tons of boobies. 3 different kinds. This is a blue-footed booby, as indicated by the blue feet. But they don't just stand on the rocks looking nice. They also do this spectacular diving. You can see some great shots I was able to get, including one where it's got its wings kind of folded up, almost like it was a frigate bird, and then that perfect shot of it almost hitting the water. I like that picture. Okay, there's other boobies too. Red-footed boobies, as you can see from the red feet, and Nazca boobies. The Nazca boobies are quite handsome. We saw quite a few of them breeding. You can see one with a baby there and a little tiny baby underneath. So cute. And, you know, when you look at them, they're quite pretty, but if you get close, you can start to see the parasites on them, these hippoboscid flies that completely creep me out. The other animal everybody asks about from the Galapagos Islands is the marine iguana, the only lizard in the whole wide world that swims in the ocean on a regular basis. Yes, we saw those. We also saw terrestrial iguanas, which are, you know, basically like iguanas you would see in other places, but specialized to these islands. So I had to make sure I got a picture of those too. Now, the first time I went to the Galapagos, there were no albatross on the islands because they were all out at sea. But this last time they were back, and to see them in the wild was really amazing. These are waved albatross. You see a mating pair here, clacking their beaks at each other. Wow is right, fellow tourist. That was just amazing. That's a frigate bird shaking off after taking a bath in a lake. Very cute. Frigate birds can look much more respectable when they puff up their chest like this. Oh, and here's a bird called a mockingbird. They have slightly different ones on different islands, but they're all mockingbirds. They're just very curious and love getting right close to you. So I was just lying on the ground filming this skull, and the bird went right under my camera lens. It was amazing. Now, one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken of birds is a pair of mockingbirds having a fight. But this year I got this amazing shot of a mockingbird with a centipede. And readers of the Bat Signal already know the full story behind how I got that picture. Here are a few more snaps from that sequence. All right, let me get through a bunch of birds here. You've got oyster catchers, including this one holding a crab. Great blue heron. This is called a whimbrel. Beautiful bird.
Oh, this is a striated heron, but there they have a special name for it because it's got this dark color. They call them lava herons. That is a wandering tattler. That's a yellow-crowned night heron. That is a black-necked stilt. I like this picture. See how it looks like eyelashes. Cute. And then the mother of all wading birds, the American flamingo. Look at that beautiful bird. Swallow-tailed gull, brown pelican, Galapagos shearwater, Elliott storm petrel, brown noddy, red-billed tropic bird, and I got a really good picture of one of these. Look at this one. Ooh, I like that. Galapagos dove, gorgeous bird, blue eye-ring. There are famous stories about Darwin being able to kill these things with his hat and then cook them up in the soup, so thanks Darwin for that, you jerk. Galapagos flycatcher, yellow warbler, and then a bunch of finches. Just look at the difference in the bills of these things, the beaks. That's the whole evolutionary story, is the difference in the mouths on these things. And then short-eared owl. Look at that. That's a pretty bird, and they live on the Galapagos too. Now the cuteness overload is the baby sea lions. They're everywhere. And look at them posing for you like this, snuggling into a little ball. Even the adults are pretty cute. Not to be mistaken for the fur seal, which is a different species that lives in the same area. Although I have to say, when the sea lions are full grown, they are pretty intimidating on land, and they're even more intimidating when you're in the water. So let's get in the water. Here we go. Oh. All right, a lot of what I saw underwater, I don't know the names of, because I couldn't talk to anybody when I was down there and point at it and say, what's this? And for some reason, I have a really hard time looking at the pictures afterwards and recognizing everything. So most of this is a blur, but hopefully you can recognize some things. Like that is a starfish. See? And that's also a starfish. Okay, those ones were easy. Oh, here's a fun one. So you can see some sea lions up on the rocks, and you're like, oh, they're pretty close. That's nice. Then you're like, oh man, get away, get away, get away. It's so close. It goes right under you and blows bubbles at you and kept coming back. Like they had no fear whatsoever. I had fear. They had no fear. I like this little piece of video because it shows you just how strong some of the currents were moving around those islands. So sometimes you were just sort of going passively as the water took you, just seeing the fish as you go, and the boat would drop you off and then pick you up. By the way, you looked at that and you thought, shark. That's not a shark, that's a turtle. But there is a shark coming. In fact, okay, I'm gonna cut to it. So we are swimming in this one side of a sort of cliff that goes down into the water, and it's just murky shapes deep down. So I'm holding my breath, and then it just kind of pops out. And I mean, it was unmistakable. Probably about 8 feet long, and I know these videos aren't great, but they're moving kind of fast, which is hard to tell. You can hear from it's almost the wind noise. I'm chasing after it, trying to get close, and now it's just swimming away from me. And I'll tell you something, I'm a pretty fast swimmer, but I'm not as fast as a hammerhead shark, it turns out. Look at that, though. And look at that iconic shape. Scalloped hammerhead.
Wow!
Wow, two of them! And so that's a little flavor. I've got way more pictures and videos, but that's just what I could fit into a nice short video. And it was a great trip. So if you're interested in doing something like that, I highly recommend Worldwide Quest. Maybe you can even come on a trip that I lead. If it's not Galapagos, maybe it's Peru, maybe it's Borneo, maybe it's Panama, or maybe it's somewhere I haven't gone with Worldwide Quest yet. We'll have to see. But they're great trips. They're a lot of fun. And yeah, I hope you got something out of that video. All right, next week we'll get right back to the science. Talk to you then.